For the past 5 years, I've been mastering the art of photographing waterfalls in all its forms. I photograph large and small ones, with high and low flow, in any conditions you can imagine. This video, I'm gonna show you the only 5 simple tips you need to know to take epic waterfall photos. Now, sit back and relax, because we start.
Hello everyone! In today's video we are visiting the amazing Black Forest, a place full of magic and mystery. It is known as the birthplace of the cuckoo clock and has inspired the fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel. Now we are heading to the Burbach Waterfall, the highest free-falling waterfall around Germany, with 32 meters. Also, I could say that this one is in my top 3 of photographed waterfalls, so I can't wait to show it to you. Now, let's go! Wow, beautiful, isn't it? Alright, to capture all the beauty of the waterfalls, first we need to know what we need. So of course we need a camera or a smartphone that allow us to use the manual mode. In my phone it's called Pro Mode, because we're gonna need to adjust the settings manually to find the best results. Also, we're gonna need a starry tripod because it gives us the possibility to play around with the shutter speed and make long exposures. And the last thing we need is a polarized filter. I am not gonna go now in details because I'm gonna explain it later properly. On the other hand, if you are thinking of going out in a sunny day to take some photos, it's not the best idea. Depending on what time of the day is, you may end up with some part of the waterfall completely bright and other parts completely on the darkness, making the photo quite distracting. So I would recommend to go out in a cloudy day when the sun has no influence in our photos. So once we know that, let's start making photos. Alright, a beginner photographer may just focus on the waterfall, and that could be a huge mistake, because the picture will look completely flat, lack of interest and without sense of depth. Instead, focus in the environment, focus how the waterfalls interact with the surroundings in order to have harmony in your composition. In this way, your picture will have sense of depth and will be more interesting. For example, where we're here right now, if we add the stairs to the photo, the picture will have more layers and will be more interesting. Also, keep in mind that these stairs are like a leading line that connects the foreground with the waterfall. On the other hand, if you are still thinking that is missing something else, well, you can always add yourself to the photo. In this way also, you add an scale to the photo, and the viewer will be able to compare yourself with the waterfall, realizing how big it is. To do that is quite simple. Use the rule of the thirds to find your position on the picture and put yourself on the opposite wave of the waterfall. In this way, the picture will be well balanced. In these situations, don't increase too much the shutter speed because otherwise you will appear blurry in the picture. And when you have it all, push the 10-second timer and run for your position. Alright, I hope you liked the first photo, but until now I haven't told you anything about the shutter speed. So let's find another photo and talk about it.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. It would help a lot to my friend and it's free. If you don't do it, I will be sad, very sad.
Alright, it took me a while to find a nice composition, because there are too many distractions around here. Well, usually, to add sense of depth to our pictures, we use the tiny waterfalls of the river, like we are gonna do it right now. In this way, we add an interesting subject in our foreground, and in the background, we place the waterfall. There are more interesting tiny waterfalls around here than the one I choose, but unfortunately, if I use them, there will be a lot of distractions in front of the waterfall, so I cannot use them. And that's why it took me a while to find a nice composition. So, in the end, when we are looking for a composition, we have to find a balance between all the elements. Changing the subject, let's talk about the polarized filter. In short, a polarized filter removes some quantity of light from our lens, making the wet surface more colorful and vibrant. Anyway, let me show you what it does to understand it better. Here you can see how it looks like without filter, but if I move it, look the difference. All the reflections for the wet surface are gone. And why this filter is so important? Because it's the only effect that you cannot replicate in Photoshop and the results are much better. When we have our setup ready, it's time to choose the right shutter speed. If you wanna mesmerize by using the silk effect on the water, giving this dreamy and ethereal effect to your photos, you only need to make a long exposure. But depending on the flow of the water, using the same shutter speed you will have different results.
Anyway, if you don't want to have any textures on the water, usually you will need a shutter speed of 1 second or more.
Instead, if you wanna have some textures on the water like I do, usually the shutter speed should be less than 1 second. As I said, it will depend on the flow of the water, so in the end you have to experiment with different shutter speeds to have the best results.
Also, be careful with the highlights of the water and don't overexpose them. After taking the photo, check out the Instagram to see if everything is alright. And pretty much that's it. We choose the right shutter speed and we push the trigger. And that's it for today, so thank you so much for watching it. Let me know in the comments if you know more tips to take epic waterfall photos, and don't forget to subscribe. Agur eta hurrengon arte!